Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on the homework that's due on February 18th. So let's begin by writing our name on it. And now we're going to go ahead and look at the first problem. It says, look at the input-output table. So here's my table. Then it says, what would be the value of the number in the 60th position? If you notice, your first input is 6. The numerical expression is 6 divided by 3, and that's going to give you 2. And then the next input is 9. And then 9 divided by 3 will give you 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend our table down here. And they're asking us to find the value. We don't know what the value is. They're asking what would be the value. So we're going to put a question mark right here. That's what they're asking us. They're asking us for the value of the number that's in the 60th position. So when you're looking at position, these are the position numbers, and we're looking for the 60th position. Okay, so don't confuse 60th with 16. It's just 60th. If you look at the first few letters, it says 60th, right? 60. So you're going to put the number 60. So the expression would be 60 divided by 3. So you're going to go over here and write 60 divided by 3. We know that the closest we can get to 6 is 6. And that's when you multiply it times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. The difference of 6 and 6 is 0. You bring down the 0. The closest you can get to 0 is 0 by multiplying times 0. And the difference is 0. So your quotient is 20. So the answer is F. 20. That means the output or the value of a number in the 60th position will be 20. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the next problem. This one says, which model shows a trapezoid that is drawn inside a parallelogram? So we're looking for a trapezoid inside a parallelogram. So if we look at the very first problem here, you're going to notice that this is not a trapezoid because it has two pairs of parallel lines. You have the lines going this way, those two are parallel, and these two are parallel. So this is not a trapezoid, this is actually a parallelogram. So I know that A is not going to be the answer. Let's look at choice B. For choice B, you're going to notice that this is a trapezoid because it has only one set of parallel lines. These two lines are parallel, but these ones are not. If we drew these lines, if we made them longer, you would realize that they are not parallel. So this is a trapezoid, so I'm going to put here a check mark because that is a trapezoid. Let's go to letter C. If you go to choice C, you're going to notice that this one is also a trapezoid because you only have one set of parallel lines. These two lines over here are not parallel. So since you do have one pair of parallel lines, you do have a trapezoid. On option D, can you think of what shape this is? You're going to notice that it has two pairs of parallel lines. If you remember, a shape that has two pairs of parallel lines is called a parallelogram, not a trapezoid. So this is not the answer because we're looking for a trapezoid that's inside. So now we have choice B and choice C. Both of them have a trapezoid inside, but it has to be inside a parallelogram. So if you look carefully, can you think of which of those two choices has the parallelogram? If you said choice B, you are correct. This is a parallelogram because it has two pairs of parallel sides. This right here is one pair of parallel sides, and here is my other pair. The shape over here, these right here were not parallel, and these two lines over here are also not parallel. So the best answer is B. Now we're going to go to number 4. And this one says, the dot plot shows the lengths of the fish that Miss Turner keeps in an aquarium in the back of her classroom. Each dot represents one fish. So we need to be careful because it's saying that the dots are representing the fish, not how big they are. And then down here you have these numbers, and those are representing the inches. If you guys remember, last week we talked about inches. If you remember Nagini, his length was of about 8 inches long. Okay, so here we're talking about fish that are as tiny as 1 inch long and also as big as 4.5 inches long. So not nearly as big as Nagini, but definitely at least a few inches long. So the question says, how many fish in the aquarium are more than 2.5 inches long? So we're only looking for the fish that are more than 2.5 inches long. Okay, so here we're gonna see that we have 3 fish that are only 1 inch long. So those fish are not very big. They're only 1 inch. Here you have 2 fish. Okay, so I'm gonna label here that I have 3F, 3 fish. Here I have 2 fish. Here I have 4 fish. Here I have 3 fish. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fish. Here I have 2. Here I have 1 fish, and here I have 1 fish. So we're only going to be looking at the ones that are bigger than 2.5. So you're going to notice that these right here are not bigger than 2.5 because 2.5 is right here, and all of these over here are smaller than 2.5. But here, 3 inches is definitely bigger than 2.5. 3.5 inches is more than 2.5. 4 inches is more than 2.5, and 4.5 inches is more than 2.5. Okay, so remember, we're only looking at the numbers here. Okay, we're not looking at the dots to determine if we choose them or not. The dots are only the fish. We're not trying to see which ones have more than 2 fish. We're trying to see which ones are longer than 2.5. Okay, so here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fish, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means that 10 fish were bigger than 2.5 inches long. So the answer is going to be G, 10 fish. Now we're going to go over here to this question. This question says, angles P and Q equal 180 degrees combined. So that means that if you combine angle P and angle Q, that'll give you 180 degrees. That means we have a straight angle. So if angle Q measures 125 degrees, what is the measure of angle P? So if you look at angle Q, this one right here, let's go ahead and label it with 125 degrees because that's exactly what they're telling me here. Angle Q measures 125 degrees. So they're asking us what is the measure of angle P. So we're going to put another one here and we're going to put a question mark. We don't know how much that is, but we do know that both of them together, it'll give us 180 degrees. So let's go ahead and do our strip diagram. And for the strip diagram, we are going to put 180 degrees in total, and then part of it is 125 degrees, and we're looking for the missing part. And if you remember, every time we're looking for that missing part in a strip diagram, we have to do what? Yes, if you said subtract, you are correct. You have to subtract if you're missing the part. So we're going to put here 180 degrees minus 125 degrees. So 0 take away 5. You can do that. So you're going to borrow from the 8. The 8 is going to become a 7. And then the 0 will become a 10. And then 10 take away 5. That'll be 5. 7 take away 2. That should also be 5. 1 take away 1 is 0. So the answer is 55. Now let's look at the last question. This one just says, look at the array below. And here we're going to label the number of rows and number of columns. So we're going to put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 rows, and in each row we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So the only option that matches those numbers of 10 and 14 is option C. Okay, so that's all I have for this week's homework. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.